Could a Texas cow start Armageddon in the Middle East in April 2024?
Yes, Armageddon is upon us. It is written, I almost said great, but the prophecy of the red heifer, the initial stages of it have begun. It's a huge prophecy in the Abrahamic religion, and many in the spiritual community are talking about it, so we're going to break it down today. And on the heels of this eclipse that just happened, this is a big deal. This is a big deal in the spiritual community. That's why many are asking, so we're going to talk about it. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you a very powerful revelation that'll help you make sense. So it'll just make it all fit into place so perfectly, exactly what's going on, why this is happening, and how this could bring in the end times. That's where this prophecy leads. Before I get into my karmas, make sure you do your karmas. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join our notification congregation. And then every time I upload one of these videos, you're going to get a little ding-a-ling-ding-ding on your phone, and you'll know to watch right away. But we're building this beautiful ashram here. You can see it behind. You can see it in this clip right here. Beautiful ashram, great location. This is the ground floor. We got 40,000 subs. Let's get it to 100,000 people. All right, let's get into the video.
And what does this have to do with Israel's war on Palestine's Gaza? On the 100-day anniversary of Israel's brutal assault on Gaza, Hamas spokesman Abu Ubaidah.
This guy could be anyone, no? Like, this guy, you could just be an Al-Qaeda spokesperson. It could be you. I mean, the eyes are so tight. It's got to be brown eyes. If it's a blue-eyed, well, blue-eyed is hot too, because then they got to convert. When they convert a white guy, that's a big deal for them. That's like, that you make that guy the spokesperson, because then you're constantly saying, like, I got one of your idiots.
Released a video explaining the motivations behind the group's incursion into Israel on October 7th. Alongside Israel's continued occupation of Palestine, he also mentioned the bringing of red cows into the occupied Palestinian territories. Ubaidah was referring to the plans of numerous right-wing Israeli groups who believe that a red cow must be sacrificed in order for the Jews to progress plans to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque and build the fabled Third Temple in its place.
This mosque, man, this is where Muhammad went to heaven from. You cannot destroy this mosque. It's going to be chaos. These people they want to fight. That's the thing. Because it is kind of aggressive on the Muslims to bring in the cows even. It's like 2,000 years, they haven't done a sacrifice. You don't need to do a sacrifice right now. But there's always these troublemakers in every religion. Like, and I'm going to talk about it at the end, but even in Hinduism right now, we just took over a mosque. The Hindus just took over a mosque. With the Hindu mosque that they took over, it's like 500 years ago, the Muslims took it from us. So it's like, I get it. This Al-Aqsa Mosque, I assumed that the Muslims probably conquered it too. Whatever. I look it up, the Romans destroyed it in 40 AD. I mean, that really is this whole conflict. If you think about it, it's like the Christians harass the Jews, and then they just put them in the middle of the Muslims, and they say, go crazy. Just take it all out, go over there, and murder that. That's what this is. But even this mosque, it's like, fair, it's a little aggressive to build a mosque, because it was their holy site. They basically had two temples, the Jews. 40 AD, the Romans, the white man brother, the European brother, the white, the colonial come and destroy it. And now they're going to, 500 years after that, the Muslims built a mosque here. It's aggressive to build a mosque, but it's not like, nothing was there. It's not as bad, dude. I think if there was a temple there, I don't think the Muslims would have built it. I think Muhammad would have just went to heaven from somewhere else, because he basically goes to heaven from here. He actually gets the word on Quran from here. He comes here, and I think it's either a horse, but then people who talk shit about Muslims, they say it's a donkey. Either way, he gets on the thing, goes to heaven, and I think that's where he gets the Quran, comes back down, gives it to the people. So you destroy this, it's basically an all-out, like, it's like every Muslim has to fight now. And I kind of get it. I mean, I don't know if I'd care about these temples so much, but it's like, that's a lot. It's very aggressive to tear this down. And with these cows, their ashes, they clean with the ashes, then they're purified enough to go and destroy it. That's the rules. These people should not have the capability to do this. You know what I mean? It's like in a responsible society, We'd make sure that these guys don't have anything, but they're rich as fuck. It's called the Temple Institute, the guys that want to build it, and they have so much money and they're so on top of it.
It might sound like a conspiracy theory, but hardliner Israeli group the Temple Institute.
This guy's way too educated. I mean, honestly, dude, you should be telling them not to do stuff like this. This guy looks he's got a turtleneck on. This guy, it's like the opposite. He's got turtleneck and these nerd glasses, and he's setting it all up. He should be telling them no. He should be the responsible one.
Have already purchased and imported 5 red Angus heifers from Texas at a cost of $500,000.
Texas, you guys should know better. But here's the problem with the prophecy. So what they say is that after they destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque and they rebuild the third temple, their Messiah is going to come back. But here's the twist. The Jews think that the Messiah is like a new guy and it's the first guy. The Christians think the Messiah is Jesus again. So the Christians think that when he gets here, he's going to kill all the Jews. And then the Jews think that their Messiah is going to come and be like, the Jews are the only real ones and everyone else, it's going to be war, everyone against us, and we're going to win. That's their belief. And then the Muslims think that the person born there is not a Messiah, but a Dajjal, which is like not a demon, but like a dark angel, you could say. A dark angel, Dajjal. Maybe the devil. It could be the devil or the Antichrist would be an equivalent. So the Dajjal is going to come posing as their Messiah, but he's not the real Messiah. And actually, the Muslims are going to take over now. The Muslims are all going to have to get together to attack, and they're going to be the ones who win the war. So they're basically pushing, all three are basically, but the Abrahamics, as a Hindu, I got to say, like, we've always seen the Abrahamics as a little bit aggressive with each other, a little bit mean, bullying, and very fighty. They just they're attacking each other so much, you know?
They have been grazing in a kibbutz in the occupied West Bank since 2022, with reports that the sacrifice is planned to take place as early as April 2024. The sacrifice of the red heifer has its roots in the Torah and the Talmud, and it is believed that the ritual is necessary to purify the Jews so that they can pray at the Al-Aqsa compound. The sacrifice will reportedly take place on a plot of land on the Mount of Olives facing the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The cow must be completely red, including its hooves, and must be around 3 years old at the time of sacrifice.
It's basically got to be like a virgin. That's another fucked up thing with these prophecies. It's like, does God care? It has to be, because a heifer, I looked it up, a heifer means virgin. Or like no babies yet. It's so creepy because God doesn't care. Does God care if you're a virgin? Let them have a kid. It took them 2,000 years to find this one. If you let them have kids, you might have a steady stream of red cows. Got to do the virgin. The Hindus should be offended and the red-haired people should be offended. This is an attack on both cultures. What's this red? It's a red virgin hair obsession. What is this? What's next? Dude, today they're doing cows, tomorrow they're doing people. And the Hindus should be saying something, but the Hindus are trying to there's a Judeo-Christian alliance, and I think the Hindus are trying to get in. They're trying to get into it, so they're not going to say a goddamn word. It's a travesty.
Following the sacrifice, the ashes of the cow are due to be mixed with water and used to purify selected Jewish priests and their adherents. Since occupying East Jerusalem in 1967, right-wing Zionists have long sought to build a third temple in place of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. While initially the goal only of fringe groups such as the Temple Institute, the plan has been mainstreamed in recent years, with groups of settlers regularly storming the Muslim compound and attracting support from numerous politicians.
Oh my God, this politician is see, this is what I mean when I say, like, these losers, society has to keep him in check, because look at this nerd. Look at this nerd. He's like a politician in the middle. The way he's hello! We're going to take it over. This wave he does, it's just, you're such... You know, it reminds me of when I was in university, we would be on Friday night, we're just thinking about how to get laid, but we'd walk by this group of Christians and Muslims and Jews, and they'd set up tables to argue with each other. And that's what they did on Friday night. And then they'd go pray. They're arguing with each other. And I remember my Sikh buddy would be like, me and my Sikh friend were like, it's so great that we don't yell at each other like this. You know, like they love our gods. We love their gods. It's cool. You know what I mean? We never get into religious debate. Political debates, yeah. There is political debates, like they want to leave India, whatever. But that's That's politics. Religion-wise, we never say, like, why are you Sikh? You should be Hindu. Never. And these guys are just arguing. And then sometimes they'd pull him in and they'd get in his head. And for like a week, he'd be like, I can't believe they said that. I'm gonna go tell them. They said that, do you know what they said? They said that our God is actually, their God actually made our God as a false prophet. And then we're going to go to hell? I got to say something to them. And I'm like, dude, just leave it. They're crazy. You're not going to win this. This is the kind of goofball, anyway, that at those meetings, at those things, this is the kind of goofball. He's such a loser. Just the way he waves. Hi!
Numerous politicians and commentators.
Shapiro's obviously there.
Temple organizations have even submitted blueprints for the construction of the temple and prepared the ornaments it will hold. Last year, during the month of Ramadan, a temple movement activist was arrested after he and a group of Jewish extremists attempted to bring a goat into the Al-Aqsa compound for a ritual sacrifice.
How awkward is that, man? Imagine you bring hey, we're going to sacrifice this in your temple. It's just going to bleed all over the place for a minute. You guys, this is a community, people. We're neighbors. They apparently go in and just harass people, too, at the Al-Aqsa. They'll just go beat them up and stuff.
The decades-long Israeli excavations under the Al-Aqsa Mosque have also been condemned by international archaeologists and denounced by numerous authorities who say they are a means of weakening the foundations of the mosque to facilitate its demolition.
And then I heard about this, where they got the mosque on this mountain thing, and then these Jews are just tunneling under them. So at any moment, the thing could collapse. They're trying to tunnel in. They're like, oh, you own that land. They're so litigious and they're so by the books. Like I feel like Jewish people, they're very legal oriented. So they pulled some kind of shenanigans where they go, oh, you own your ownership is of this land, but this land is of God's land. Yeah. You dig that out, the thing collapses, and you go, oh, your land is gone now. Your land was at this height. Our land, this is now our land. You are on our land. That's fucking crazy, dude. You just can't. These guys are like committed. Anyway, let's continue it.
If Israel were to attempt to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam, it would trigger outrage across the Arab and Muslim world. However, even if these right-wing Jewish groups are unable to proceed with the demolition, many fear that the sacrifice itself could embolden Jewish extremists to occupy the mosque and further restrict the rights of Palestinians to access the holy site.
Oh my God. How do you pull a mom like that, man? You gotta, even as a cop, I'd be like, okay, mom, you okay, mom? I gotta take you out, mom. There's gotta be a better way to move her. Get like a two-wheeler. Just a little cart. It just sucks when she's praying at her mosque and then you gotta take her out. I mean, that's probably the kicking and screaming. Ah, that's it, people. The people who are supposed to make us love each other, they're supposed to tell us that we should love each other, the religious folks, they're the ones causing all the fights. And that's why Osho, one of my favorite spiritual teachers, he always says that the biggest sinners are the priests and the politicians. They're the only ones who can murder and rape with impunity. And they push us all towards war and fighting. This reminds me, because when I was younger, I remember I used to believe in stuff like this. I used to be pretty into the Hindu version of this when I was younger. And because I'd go to these Patel conventions and then just there'd be a room where some uncle would be like, too many Muslims. What are we going to do about the Muslims? It was like a little radicalizing on the side room. And I got into it. And I remember for years I was very like rude to some of my Muslim friends. Like I might have like just, and even girls that I was dating, I might have just said they were terrorists or like sleeper cell terrorists. That like when the shit goes down, you're going to be on that team. Like I was kind of saying stuff like that. And they were like, no, what? It's not going to go down. What are you talking about? And I would say rude stuff like that to people. And no, but I feel bad now. And I remember years ago, I learned about a new way of thinking about life. Because when I was born with a very similar religious ideology to this, it was a Hindu version, but it was about us being, we're the chosen people, we're number one, and we got to fight back. And there was stuff like this included. And then for a while, I became atheist. I got into Sam Harris and all that stuff. But then I got into a newer way of thinking, a non-dualistic. And maybe this is a very important religious insight that these guys maybe they're missing it. I don't know. Maybe send them the video. Maybe they'll be like, oh, non-dual, a loving God. That and basically, one of the best stories that illustrates is I remember I was watching this. I actually heard this parable. Sorry, I wasn't watching it. I heard this parable, but it's actually more of a true story maybe, about a Christian going to India to convert the Hindu. And he goes to India and he says, hey Hindu, what is the meaning of it all? What is the meaning of your religion? And he basically asks the Hindu, and the Hindu says that they believe that this life is a dance and a play, and God loves us and wants us to have an exciting play. So it's very difficult, but we're here for fun and we're here to dance and stuff like that. And he says, oh, what do you guys believe? The Hindu, because they're into it. They want to hear whatever you believe too. So he's like, oh, so what do you guys believe in? And the Christian goes, are you crazy? This life is a test. God's watching every single thing we do. And if you live it right, then you get to live and you only get one chance. None of this reincarnation shit. You get one chance, and if you do it right, you get to live in heaven with God for eternity. But if you screw it up, if you make one mistake or too many mistakes, one mistake even could discount you, then you burn in hell for eternity. That's what this is. And then the Hindu says, that's a good game. You're going to take that game real serious. That's a good one for you. Doesn't convert. The Christian guy kind of gets mad at him for like, why are you converting then? You have to convert to mine. The Hindu's like, no, that's a good one. That's a nice game that you can play, and you'll take it seriously, and you'll be committed, and you'll be in the moment. So there's a lot of good spiritual insights you'll gain from that. But the Hindu ultimately does believe that you just keep living life until, like he just kind of sees him as like, yes, this is a lifetime he's going through. He'll reincarnate 6,000 more times, and then he'll figure out that was maybe a bad idea, whatever. But ultimately, though, the philosophy of the non-dual God, of like a non-dualistic, a loving universe, it does change your perspective on these things. Because I remember I used to think that, like, yeah, we got to take over the mosques. And then you get into non-dual thinking, and they kind of say that it's all the mosques, the temples don't really matter that much. The whole place is a temple. Even if you go in nature, that's a temple. That's where God is. I just came across like 4 or 5 different theories. What I'm talking about here is a specific philosophy. There's a department in every religion that believes it. It is very specific, and it is kind of scientific. It's basically that the ultimate reality, like basically the universe is mental, like we're inside of someone's dream, but that energy that creates it is like this loving awareness. Like we are just a product of some loving awareness, and this like this infinite energy. If you get down to the atom, inside of there's like this infinite doorway into this like this loving energy, and it's what's making us alive. It's intelligent, and it's making us alive, and it's like the Tao. In Taoism, they say the Tao that can be the Tao that can be known is not the real Tao, and the Tao that can be described is not the real Tao. It can't be described. We're in such a small context compared to the whole thing, and it's very paradoxical for us. But basically, it is like a love simulator where we are love pretending not to be love so that we can remember that we're love again. And that's what all these adventures are for. And all fighting, like in this case, they're going to war, they want to fight. All fighting is actually also dance. Like basically we're here to dance, and the creation is like this dance that's happening. But the dance, it's basically like when people are fighting, they're just dancing in the, you could say they're dancing incorrectly, but even the non-dualist way, it's not even incorrect. They're just doing their own kind of a dance. And it's the kind of dance that at the end of it, they're going to like, when they have their realization, they're going to be like, oh, we could have just been like really dancing. That's the whole point of it. There's no other point to it. It's just they're fighting so that they can realize like it was a mistake to fight. Our true nature is to be loving with each other, and this is a mistake according to the non-dualists. And basically, we should be. This is a community, people. Very provocative to bring these cows and slaughter them right now. They're going to slaughter them by April 22nd. So anyway, I just want to talk about that. Thanks for watching. Make sure you support the channel. We are building a beautiful digital ashram, and you can see it right here. Great location. It's on an electron cloud in your heart. And once you subscribe, you're going to feel that boost of energy, and you're going to want to tell your friends that this guy's telling people the word of love. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. And the moral of the story is, you are loved because you are loved. Such is the nature of loving kindness. Okay? So now that I've done my karmas, make sure you do your karmas. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and sign up for meditation. Ascension is upon us, foolish. Sign up for meditation immediately. Ha! Am I still here?